Good morning. Today is Sunday, October 13th, 2024, and this is the weekly Bitcoin price forecast, looking at where Bitcoin went in the past week and where it could potentially go in the future. So this is we're mid-month in October, and as you can see on the chart, pretty much we're down ever so slightly, but overall, like we had a somewhat sizable dip down to about 60K, but it was unable to get below that really, and then just continued to reverse back up to the upside. So I think this was maybe a liquidity grab of some sorts, and then it's just going to continue on rising to the upside. I don't really see this one turning around. There's just too much good news on the horizon. Elections coming up soon, so I think you're going to start seeing a flood of money start to come back in, especially once elections are over, regardless of who gets into office. I think what a lot of people just want is that security of knowing who it is, whether it be Kamala or Donald Trump. That plays a lot into investor mindset. It plays a lot into the psychology of whether or not they want to do it, just depending on what the political landscape is, because that's something that people have to factor in. So something to watch. Something to watch. So yeah, again, overall, relatively flat October at this point. There was a dip and then a kind of decent move to the upside at the end of last week. So let's take a look at that. So again, on the weekly chart, just going as we've talked about for months and months, up and down and up and down and up and down and up and down. So we're in this range, right? It's never consistent, week after week after week after week up. But we're getting there. Once you get there, once you get up to this upside, over this range, right? And it's kind of right here. So let's turn the drawings on. Over this red line. So once you get above this bull flag, and we're getting really close, right? You see that in the past, we've been able to go below 60K and close there consistently. Close. All these closes below 60,000. But at this point on the weekly chart, we can't even close. We can't even close below it. So the last time that we went up, starting from this major dip in September, you went all the way to the top of the chart. And then you went, all the way to the top of the channel, I should say. And then there was an attempt to get to 60K, couldn't do it. There was an attempt to get below 60K, couldn't do it. And then you just had good news after good news come out. So my thought is that we're probably going to be at a new all-time high by Thanksgiving. I think that's pretty conservative. Thanksgiving or no, actually it would be sooner than that. It would be before Thanksgiving. I think we'll hit an all-time high. So Thanksgiving isn't until late November. It's currently mid-October. So I'm thinking the next couple of weeks we'll hit an all-time high, but we'll see. You never know how it's going to play out until it plays out, right? So you have the moving average here, that 50, and then the 100 moving average and 200 moving average, long-term support. So I think this is kind of your last chance. I think about as low as it went was like 50, 55K. I mean, you did get one opportunity down here at 50K. You had to be very quick with this. You had to, be watching it like a hawk to be able to catch that. But I think the ranging is done. The accumulation period is done, and then we're just going to continue to go on to the upside until you hit that 100K mark. And then once you hit this, everything goes crazy because now it's FOMO. Oh my God, it's going to go on without me. And they know it's going to go to 80 and 90 and all this type of stuff. So it's, 180, 190, I should say, but it's all good. So coming up from, I said we bounced off the bottom of this channel here. Ran all the way to the top, bumped it at the end of September, came down. This is the Iran conflict and all that in Iran and Israel, as I said a couple weeks ago, and that was the reason why this candle came down. It paused at 60K. Like I said, it couldn't go below it. Price ran up on this Monday and then dropped again Thursday. But as you can see, it's really just bouncing off of this 200-day moving average. All the moving averages have kind of consolidated since we're in a range at this point on the daily chart. But you have the 60K level, you have the 200 moving average, 100 moving average. I think we finally made the golden cross. Let's take a look. I think we did. We did. On 60K, that small little golden cross. So that's 50 moving average and the 100 moving average. The 50 moving average has crossed above the 100 moving average for the first time since I don't know that. I don't like that. But yeah, so it's crossed above that for the first time since I don't know what it's been some months. I think it was like October of last year. I'm not sure, but anyway, that's the daily. Let's look at the 4-hour. See where we're at. So that's significant. Yeah, so that crossed below. This kind of crossed above. So that was July maybe. But the last major cross was October of last year. Yeah, or almost to the day last year. So that's very interesting. We'll see. We'll see how that goes. That's the daily chart, 4-hour chart. I don't really think there's too much else to look at. Like just the fact that this is a double bottom right here. This is really just a double bottom pretty much. So you have this area and you have this area that are pretty much tap, and then it continues to go on to the upside. So we'll see how that goes. Looking at the news for this week, you had the FOMC minutes come out. That wasn't really too much of that was basically telling you what had happened. Like they've already released the news. This is just them putting out the physical press release pretty much. CPI was a big one this week. So consumer price index, that's basically your inflation numbers year over year. They were expecting 2.3, but still it came below. It's dropped. It's still dropped year over year. So that's a good sign. Came in ever so slightly above expectations, but still ended up dropping. So that's good. 2.4, as you can see, like we've started to have like this downtrend of inflation, and that will pretty much kind of lead to them decreasing interest rates more and more. So there's another interest rate announcement in mid-November. So I'm expecting that one will be a cut as well. So whether it be 25 basis points or 50 basis points, we have yet to see. But we'll get there. So the thing is about October, there's not really any news left. I mean, PPI, that's already happened. No one cares about these two core retail sales and all that. Like, it doesn't really have that much of an impact. Unemployment, so on and so forth. Yeah, you really don't have anything until JOLTS job opening. So there's a lot here. So this is like Japan, non-farm employment change coming up, and then the election somewhere probably the next week. So we'll see. A lot of movement in the Japanese markets, and I think at the end of the month. So that actually might be pretty interesting. Seeing where they keep their interest rates. So the other thing that happened this week. So not a lot happened this week, but the SEC did not look the best this week. They have not been put in a favorable light. Even internally within the organization. So like this came out October 11th. So SEC Commissioner Mark Ayuda slams agency's crypto policy as a disaster. Basically saying that they're standing on the wrong side of history. This is internal, right? So he's an SEC commissioner basically saying that we have done this wrong. Our policies and our approach over the last several years have been just really a disaster for the whole industry. They've done this whole, how do they want to call it? It's like regulation by enforcement. And basically, so like they throw all these lawsuits at people at these organizations, and they really have no basis. Like they're just trying to enforce laws that they don't want to put on the books. And that's why they continue to lose a lot of these cases. So if you look at some of the major cases that they've had over the year, they either come to a settlement or like they just straight up get the case dismissed. So I know Ripple's the most recent big one that has kind of settled in court over the last couple of weeks, and I think that was almost their testing period, but we'll see how that ends up shaking out. And also, Crypto.com has sued the SEC after receiving a legal threat, so a Wells notice from the regulators. Basically, what that is saying is, so the SEC sent some type of notification to Crypto.com, one of the biggest exchanges out there, and it's just saying, hey, there may be potential legal action against you guys. And Crypto.com, again, this whole concept of enforcement through, regulation through enforcement, as opposed to just making the actual laws and the regulations and policies. So with that, yeah, they had basically a countersuit. Just like you're not just going to continue to do this to us. You need to actually tell us what we're doing wrong and give us a path forward to be able to operate legally and efficiently in the States. So that's kind of where we're at with this one. So it's interesting, and we'll kind of see how this ends up playing out. But I will tell you that the SEC is they're turning. I don't even want to say that it's interesting, because like we're at a point where if the political landscape could shift, and I don't know if this SEC organization is still going to be the same after the election, but we'll see. Time will tell. Again, this has been Chris Talks Crypto. Check out any crypto-based resources on christalkscrypto.com. Join the Pulse on Crypto Discord, and I will see y'all on the moon. Take care. Bye-bye.